A lot of people are comparing Shakur Stevenson to Floyd Mayweather or Pernell Whitaker, you know, the best fighters in the world with a back foot fighting style and being very slick, defensive. But how much can we really, you know, give to Shakur? How good is he in comparison to guys like Floyd? Is he really the next Floyd Mayweather? You know, honestly, if I'm answering from my perspective, I think obviously Shakur is a great fighter. I like watching Shakur. He's from Newark. I'm also from Jersey, so I know that he's tough. But when it comes to, you know, fighting, I think that, you know, as good as he is, he's not getting the statement performances that, you know, Floyd would get when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, stopping all these legends, Chico Corrales, Arturo Gatti. He was getting these guys out of there. You know, Shakur is great. He's doing great things in the sport right now. I'm a big fan of his, but I also think that he needs to prove more. He needs to show more. And maybe it's a level of opposition thing where he has to be fighting the best to see the best version of him. But if he's not going to make those fights soon, you know, it's like when. And it's, a lot of it isn't his fault because, you know, he's tried to fight Isaac Cruz. He's tried to fight Frank Martin. They couldn't make it happen. So a lot of it is also the fact that people don't want to fight Shakur because of his style. Maybe it's boring to them, but at the same time, they know it's a difficult style to compete with. So Shakur's in a tough place where he can't get those big fights. They were talking about the Lomachenko fight, but it seems like Gervonta Davis is going to be in line, you know, for that fight next. So Shakur is in a weird place. He's obviously fighting Artem Artunian, and that's going to be an interesting fight. I'm excited to see that one because obviously Artem fought Frank Martin, and that was a pretty competitive fight in my eyes. But to see what Shakur is able to do, he has to honestly make a big statement in this next fight because without a big statement, he doesn't really bring anything to the table when it comes to a negotiation for a big fight with a guy like Tank or a guy like Lomachenko. They're not going to pay him, you know, a big amount unless he's able to put on a big performance. If he's able to put on a big performance on, I believe it's July 6th against Artem, he needs it. You know, he needs a big performance this upcoming fight because he wants to lead Top Rank. He's saying that, you know, this is probably his last fight under contract. It is his last fight under contract. So if he puts on a stellar performance, then other promoters outside of Top Rank are going to be willing to invest in him. But if it's just a mediocre and not exciting performance from Shakur, then a lot of people aren't going to be willing to invest in him. That's just the truth. And as good as he is, as talented as he is, a lot of promoters only care about how much money you can bring to them and how exciting you are. How many eyeballs can you bring to, you know, their promotion as well. So take Devin Haney and Sandor Martin, for example. That fight, they had a purse bid for that fight, and Top Rank was the only bidder for that fight. Even Devin Haney's, you know, guy, Eddie Hearn, with Matchroom wasn't willing to bid on that fight for Devin, and that's a mandatory fight. And that just shows Eddie Hearn knows that that fight wouldn't have made a lot of money. So the same kind of comparison with Shakur, you know, he has to put on an exciting fight for people to invest in him. And a lot of it is, you know, this isn't a big fight where there's multi-million dollars flying all over the place with Shakur Stevenson and Artem, but still, you know, he has to put on a big performance. This performance here could determine his future of where he ends up next. You know, it's going to determine whether guys like Al Heyman, guys like Eddie Hearn, guys, you know, if these guys are willing to invest into Shakur's future fights, if they think he's worth the money. And he's gonna want to be making a lot of money because honestly Shakur is the best 135 pounder alongside Gervonta Tank Davis, so he's obviously gonna want to make a lot of money. But it all starts with this performance. This is his coming out party to make a statement, and if he doesn't do that, a lot of promoters may not want to invest in him as a free agent, and that's just the truth. So this next performance for Shakur is a lot bigger than people, you know, are anticipating, because a lot of people are just saying, oh, he's fighting another tomato can, he's fighting another taxi driver. No, this is a big moment for Shakur. I would almost argue that if he doesn't, you know, get a stoppage or maybe a 12-round shutout and maybe drop the guy a few times, that it could really hurt his stock and his chances of getting signed by another promoter that's going to be willing to invest as much as Top Rank has. And maybe it's not a lot, but Shakur also has to take into account. He's been honest with the people, saying how, you know, if he were to fight guys like Tank, he would say F the fans, and that in itself gives puts a hit on his stock. That puts a hit on the potential chances of guys signing him, because they know that he's not the most exciting fighter in the world. Even though he's good, pay-per-view sales, ticket sales, that all matters, and that's why Shakur needs a big performance. And his accolades speak for themselves, but in today's society, in the sport of boxing, it's not enough. You have to have something about you. You gotta give people a reason to buy your pay-per-view. You've gotta give the people a reason to buy a ticket to your fight. And Shakur, with this next fight, has to make a statement. If he doesn't get a stoppage or get a damn near shutout with a few knockdowns, I'm pretty sure that a lot of the promoters are gonna say, why am I going to invest in this guy as a free agent? We'd have to pay him a lot because he thinks he's a superstar, but when in actuality he's got a lot of skills to pay the bills, but not really much of a following or anything exciting about his style or how he promotes himself. And that's just the truth. That's the truth about Shakur Stevenson. He's not Tank Davis. He knows that. He knows that he's not on the level of Tank when it comes to pay-per-view sales, when it comes to ticket sales. So honestly, Shakur is only bringing skills to the table. And in the sport of boxing, where it's not only about the sport itself, where it's about negotiations and actually making a lot of money, Shakur's skills may not do him enough to land him a big contract. So if he has a good performance, an A plus performance, I'm not worried about whether or not someone's going to sign him. And the offers are going to be there. I'm just afraid that if Shakur Stevenson doesn't have the best performance, then he's not going to get the money that he wants from other promoters. And maybe that's fine. Maybe the goal is to, even if he's making the same amount of money at Top Rank or even a little less with another promotional company, let's say it's Golden Boy, let's say it's probably not going to be Golden Boy, it's Al Heyman or it's Eddie. No matter where he goes, he's probably going to look for big fights. Maybe this is more of a long-term plan where maybe he's not getting the most pay when it comes to a contract, but if he's able to fight more guys, on the other side of the street, guys like Tank, guys like Frank Martin, if he can get those fights with Al, then that could make him more money than being with Eddie or Top Rank, where those fights are a little bit more difficult to make. So that could be the play here, but I'm just here to say that people really don't understand how important this fight is for Shakur. People sleep on the fact and think it's just another fight, but he really does have to make a statement. And this is a guy that he's Artem that he's fighting, where Frank Martin didn't have the best performance of his life against Artem, and Shakur's gonna have to show that he's better than Frank Martin by fighting a mutual opponent, and he has to look really good, because if he doesn't, like I said before, all those offers about millions here, millions there, it's not gonna be there, because even Bob Arum said it himself. He said, yeah, I understand Shakur wants to leave. He's a great fighter. He just doesn't have the same, the same following that guys like Ryan Garcia, guys like Tank have. So inevitably, if he tries to, go out and be a free agent and explore other options, that's fine. Bob Arum doesn't have a problem with it. It's more so, Bob's a little bit skeptical about, whether or not promoters are going to be willing to invest their own money into Shakur because of things like ticket sales, things like pay-per-view sales, where Shakur he's good, but he's not a Tank Davis, he's not a Ryan Garcia, he's not a Canelo Alvarez, where he's selling out arenas. So he's gonna have to make a big statement and give the people more of a reason to watch, whether he makes a statement in the ring or he makes a statement out of the ring. And he said stuff like, I'm not gonna sell my soul to become a pay-per-view star. That's fine, but like I said before, if you're saying, I respect it, staying true to yourself, that's very important, but in the sport of boxing, where you say things like F the fans, and you say, if I gotta make it a boring fight, I gotta make it a boring fight, you can do that stuff, but you don't say it out loud. When you say that kind of stuff out loud, it inevitably hurts your stock. Look at a guy like Floyd Mayweather. When he was Pretty Boy Floyd, he was stopping guys, he was really beating guys up. And not to say that Shakur is not doing that, but he's not doing it to the extent that Floyd was doing it when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, when he was Shakur's age. And then when you got some more money, yeah, he didn't have the most exciting style, but he had hurt hands, so he had to make something else really interesting about him. And what did he do? He started marketing himself. He started playing the villain, because Floyd knew that he wasn't knocking guys out, so he said, let me make something else interesting. So he started talking his talk, talking shit during the press conferences and getting everybody engaged. And then maybe he didn't have the most exciting performances, but you know, he backed it up with the skills to pay the bills. And Shakur, if he can't, you know, promote himself the way that Floyd did, even outside the ring, he's gonna have a hard time becoming a superstar. And that's just the facts. That's just how it is. You know, taking into account your personality, you know, your boxing style, and what you bring to the table. How many fans are you bringing? What's your following like? That's all stuff that matters now. That's just the truth of the sport, you know, if you want to make a lot of money. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. How good is Shakur Stevenson, and will he move on to another promotion and leave Top Rank? Let me know in the comments what you guys think, but thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. That's going to do it for another Naz Fight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.